Okie dokie. There we go. Thanks for hanging in there. It only took me an extra 3 minutes to figure it out. Woo! Good morning, everybody. Chase Smith is here. Crispy's here. Beefette. I thought you were going to call us Ash Hats. But thanks for sparing us today. I don't know if that's an endearing word or not. Maybe it is. If you're in the chat, please say hi. It would be good to talk to you. Drop some questions in the chat as well, which I'll try to get to at the end here. So speaking of the end, I'll show you some of the stuff that has been ordered over the last 24 hours. And I'm going to give you a tiny little teaser of what's to come. Something we're trying to launch this week. I got a couple things to show you on the table here. So everything we're about to look at is being worked on today that we're going to prepare to ship out. A lot of the stuff still needs to get polished up, both on the edges as well as on the surface of the leather. Oh, official Mainspring's here. Good morning. What's up, Crispy, Jaron, Floyd? Everybody's here. Oh my God. All right, cheers. Hopefully you're drinking coffee. Let's flip it around, take a look at some stuff. What's up, Jeff D? And by the way, when I flip it around here, I can't see my screen, so I miss out in the chat for this next little section here. Let's flip it over, take a look at some stuff. Hit everything on the way every time I do it. All right, we're at the table here. I guess let's start off with some belts. Got a couple belts going out today. You can see how we label them to prepare them, because what we do is we cut the belts to length as they are ordered. So this one is going to be a size 38 in that English tan Dublin. It's one of our most popular belt styles. In fact, we're mostly sold out right now. There are some that we still have, but we still need to restock a bit of the English tan. We've got a couple other belts. This is black Chrome Excel. That'll be size 36. And you can see the belts are all unlined. So they're a single thick, chunky piece of leather. And on a color like black that you see here, we're actually staining that black color on top of a natural base. So a lot of people have been calling that combination of two colors T-core, which is kind of interesting. This one is brown Chrome Excel, which is also technically T-core. The backside, the brown is natural, but it's a little bit less of a stark contrast like on the black. And then here's one that's not T-core. This is all natural Chrome Excel, so no stains applied. So the color on the grain here was drum dyed at the same time as the flesh, obviously. In fact, no dye applied at all. So this is just the color of the tannins, the skin, and then the waxes and oils that have been tanned into there. So we got a natural Chrome Excel in a size 34 going out. Speaking of Chrome Excel, here's another one that's kind of T-core. Actually, in fact, it's not T-core. Excuse me. This is what's called drum dyed. So you see the back side of this leather and the cross section. Actually, maybe this is T-core. Looks like what we did on this one. If you look at the cross section, this is why I was confused. You can see that's a natural color through the cross section there, but the grain color is black, and then the backside, the flesh color, is also black. What we did for this was stain it on both sides. You can see all my fingerprints here too. So black Chrome Excel, this is the grain side, which is the normal side that you mostly see. And this is a great piece to demonstrate. I have a fun quote that people have quoted back to me, which is, you can almost see how it feels. So Chrome Excel is really waxy and oily. There's just so much material that is tanned into this leather that, again, you might even be able to see how it feels. It's just super, super rich. So you get a little bit of this tracking, and that's actually the oils and the waxes that are tracking a little bit there. Pretty interesting. So a valet tray here. This is the XL size valet tray. We haven't put the hardware in here, but these close up on the corners just like that. Let me make a little space here. Slide in some wallets. Looks like we got a couple Chicago combs and comb sheaths going out today. This is an English tan Dublin comb sheath, and we sell it with these carbon fiber combs from our local friends here at Chicago Comb. I really like this style, and it seems like people enjoy the comb sheaths. They buy a lot of these from us directly, and then we started selling them on our website as like a collaboration. So apparently they have on Amazon, they have like the best-selling carbon, or not even carbon fiber, which is like the best-selling hair pick in the world. It's kind of crazy, but their hair pick is also carbon fiber, just a little bit of a different shape. Here's a really beautiful Capone in color number 8 shell cordovan. On the color 8 shell cordovan pieces and the black shell cordovan pieces, we've been doing this new thing where we bevel the edges, Then we apply a little bit of stain and then wax and burnish them smooth. So the result is a color on the edge of the leather that matches the color of the surface of the cordovan in this example. And I think it just makes it a very, very clean look. And it's beautiful. That's a really nice looking component. Here's some other smaller accessories. We've got a vault key holder here that I'm going to drop onto the tray on purpose and then show you what the grain looks like. Very intense grain character on the black Dublin. It's one of the most interesting black leathers around, even compared to the black Chrome Excel. You can see the black Chrome Excel is very, very flat and smooth. That's because it has been polished. The grain goes through a little bit of a polishing process, but on the Dublin here, it's much more textured. You might be able to see just a little bit of that grain character there as I tilt it around in the light. Here is a lighter sheath, and I really like how these have been turning out. This is a reverse black shell cordovan lighter sheath. And we got a couple key fobs going out today. These are the new key fobs. So this is black shell cordovan on the key fob. It's a single layer of leather that is actually, it's two pieces of leather, but the main body of the fob is one single layer of leather. And then we have two matching pieces of hardware on this. So this is an antique copper rivet that goes over the antique copper split keyring. So I actually think those copper pieces go well with just about everything. We also have that on the new key fob loop, which I think this would be the first announcement. We heard you loud and clear. You really like the key fob loop. So we made a bunch more in natural shell and put those up on stock. So if you wanted a key fob loop in natural shell, like this one here, there should be, I don't know when you're going to hear this, but we put up a bunch of them. Here's an inverted shell cordovan piece here. This is inverted black, which is fun to see on a single layer here because you can see on the reverse side where all the stain went. And then this is sort of the accidental splatter side, which is why we like inverted shells and marbled shells. You get a very unique look that is not controllable. So every piece of inverted shell is going to be a little bit different and totally unique. It's interesting here too. This is one of our other key accessories. This is our keychain belt clip in English tan Dublin. It's much longer than the key fobs. And this is more of with the design in mind of clipping it around your belt. So this section here can unsnap and clip over your belt like that. But for me, I actually like to clip this onto my belt loops and then hang my keys off the other side. So we got an English tan going out. And then here's what the here's what the keychain belt clip looks like before we put any of the hardware on. It's a really long piece of cordovan, which is shockingly long, right? But we use one big piece of leather here, and we do have one that we need to assemble today in reverse black shell. You can see how we've cut that Horween stamp into a nice visible spot also. Now let's get into some new colors. Royal Blue Cypress, I guess maybe not new at this point, but it's new for us. I mean, it's only been about a month. Just so generally speaking, this is a brand new leather to the world that hasn't really existed before. And we had it made specifically to our tastes from Horween, which is exceptional. It's purpose designed. The leather was designed for our wallets, and we buy it in a few different thicknesses. So the thickness on the interior here is perfect. It's a little bit thinner than the leather that we use on the outside, but we run them in the same mill. So in theory, the color should be the same. That's not to say there won't be some variance from skin to skin, but it's awesome. There's very minimal stretch in this. In fact, it's designed to have as little stretch as possible. And then we've got that waxy surface on top of the veg retan. It's just like a really resilient leather. And it gets a little bit brighter and shinier. It ages a little bit more slowly than something that's like a full veg. So I also have a fat Herbie in the new Royal Blue. And here's my fat Herbie in the Royal Blue that I've been wearing for a few weeks. As I wear it, I notice just it's getting much more luster. It's getting very, very bright. Here's a natural shell cordovan Capone money clip. That's very beautiful. You can see on these, we just do a natural waxed and burnished edge because there's no color to match to on the surface of the grain. So speaking of stained edges, here is a 100% black shell cordovan Johnny of the Fox. And these are beautiful. I think we just restocked these. It's tough for us to get. I mentioned thin pieces of leather. It's difficult for us to get the thin pieces for the inside of this wallet design. So we have to be a little bit patient and sort through and select the naturally thin pieces of leather for the interior here. And some people might ask, well, why don't you just split the leather down and thin it down? Well, we don't do that because we've noticed that's where a lot of other wallets fail. They tend to rip and they lose a lot of their strength once you thin down the leather. So we try to avoid that at all costs and just pick the leather to be the thickness that we need just naturally. And that seems to work out a little bit better. And here's a look at the black hand stained edges on this one, all blacked out. It's a nice, really nice look. We also do a little bit of color. It's not much of it's not particularly a stain, but we have applied a little bit of color onto the edges of the English tan Dublin pieces. Like you see here, it's got this really nice sort of orangey tan. And the Johnny the Fox here, this is our best seller with the English tan Dublin on the inside also. Here's another Cypress piece. This time it's in the brown color, which is like a very clean, classic look, that color of brown. And very flat and even, very smooth, just straight up nice for Cypress. I really like Cypress. Here is a English tan Dublin Fat Herbie. You can see a little bit more character in the Dublin leather here. Also have an English tan Dublin small zip with black horsehide on the interior. Still need to trim up the threads, polish this guy up. And the last one before we get to our little teaser. This is a beautiful looking Fat Herbie. Also in color 8 shell cordovan, where we have those hand stained, waxed and burnished edges. Super clean. Really nice piece here, and just a huge piece of shell. So I love seeing a large context of leather like we see on this guy. And we have more on the interior. And of course, we cut the Horway ink stamp into visible spots every time we can. So great pieces going out today. Thank you guys. If you saw your wallet in the video, I really appreciate you supporting us. And I'll go through and thank everybody individually here. But let me see if I can pick one of these things to tease you with. Okay, so here we go. Coming up later today, I'm going to bail on you quickly here because I've got a lot of work to do to get this launched by tomorrow. But coming up, we've got some really, look how awesome that is. There's some really crazy inverted pieces coming, including this Fat Herbie. This is inverted ultraviolet. No stamping, but I think we hid some stamps in the back here, which is kind of fun. So just like fully letting the leather do its thing. We've been trying to think about like just getting out of the leather's way since our inception in 2011, just like let the leather do the work. So this one's kind of interesting to see because there's no visible branding. And just like fully letting the leather do all that work. So we've got that, and then other. Give me one sec. I guess I'll tease you with two more of my favorite things. We're going to be doing a collection of inverted stuff, including the inverted UV we just looked at, as well as inverted violet. And oh my God, like how awesome is that? And again, this inverted stuff is not a pattern that we can order and say like, I need exactly this look. It sort of is what it is. And then we get what we get. So we got a Capone here, an inverted violet, which is darker than the inverted ultraviolet, more straight up purple. It's beautiful. So we're going to put up some private stock stuff. I'm going to try to do a preview video that will be released tonight and then launch these on Friday tomorrow. So there's that cool, that Capone's crazy looking. And we also have another stunner here. This is Johnny the Fox in like full inverted violet, which is incredible to see because again, we need those thin pieces of leather. So to find it on a rare color like this, that's a magical piece. For me to see here, Johnny the Fox. And we're going to do all the inverted colors that we have. So there are others like inverted blue, inverted black. All right, I'm going to flip it around here. Hopefully not knock over everything in the room. Okay. What do you think about that teaser? The team here, we have incredible people that I work with that are incredibly skillful. And I'm just really lucky to work with them. So if you were looking at the video here and you ordered something the last day, you might have seen your thing, and let me call you out. So if I list your name here, you probably just saw your thing unless it's a made to order item. So thank you so much, Edward B, Alexander H, Mark M, Michael G, which yours is not in there, Michael G, Alejandro, Paul H, Scott G, Joseph M, Daniel L, JB, Drew P, Jonathan M, Juan R, Richard O, David PK, Randy S, Nathaniel M, Jeffrey B, John J, Les M, Robert P, Ryan O, Brad R, James A, Vincent M, and Tammy. Thank you guys so much. All right, let's see what you guys are chatting about. Man, those inverted. Let me know what you thought about the inverted too. And I'll spend a couple minutes here because, like I said, I want to get all these launched this week, so I need to go do all the work for that. It's going to take a bit. All right, Jeff D is here. Quan, Chase, Floyd, Mainspring, Isaiah's here. Birdo, Jay Looney. Our good friend Sherman Tan is here. What's up, Sherman? Phil says, what do you think about Wax Flesh Chrome Excel? I super love it. I love Wax Flesh. As it is worn in and beaten up, it tends to get more and more interesting, but it does start to get more and more rugged. So people that aren't familiar with Wax Flesh, if you look at the valet tray that I showed you earlier, the flesh side of the leather that we use actually has a little bit of what the Wax Flesh is. It's just a different material that is going over the flesh. But essentially, you're taking all those sort of sueded out looking fibers on the flesh side of the leather, and then you're filling all those in with wax. And that's what Wax Flesh is. Oftentimes this is done with a little bit of color also. What happens is by adding that color, and if you wear a boot out of it, for example, the color that was added to the surface of that flesh can scrape away. And it starts to get a little bit more opened and more fibrous, as opposed to being matted down as it was originally. So you get this like texture combination as well as a color combination from the surface of the flesh to the undertones. And it's really neat. I would like to do some wallets out of it, but we just haven't. I would like to, though. I've been thinking about that for years. Isaiah wants a patina update. I think I showed it in the video here, but it's looking great, man. It's a beautiful shade, right? This is like, for all the years I've been doing wallets, this is the one that I get compliments on the most. It's like every other time I use this wallet, people are like, whoa, that's really cool. Isaiah says, Phil, is the garnet shell color the most red shell color? Yes, it is, as far as I have seen. They have done work shoe Chrome Excel horse butts before that are full painted red, but I don't think that's been done for a lot of years. So in theory, they could make one that's more red, but right now, garnet shell cordovan is the most red cordovan color. Used to be known as color number 2. It's also been called ruby. Those are all analogous in theory. They do, and we see it, they tend to change from batch to batch. So sometimes they're a little bit darker, sometimes they're a little bit more bright and red. Jeff D says, has Ashland considered doing a men's leather wrist cuff, kind of like a watch strap, but not as thick? Maybe only 5 millimeters wide as the 5 millimeters wide as a piece would be some kind of clasp. But we've thought about that. The problem with us on most things is actually hardware. So like, there are many pieces of hardware that you could do a wrist like bracelet with, but most of those hardware require you to glue or epoxy the leather into the hardware, which we don't. A lot of the leathers we use are just so waxy and oily that you can't glue anything to them, so they don't tend to stay stuck inside of that clasp. I'll do a shout out here to Buckle Guy, where we've bought some hardware from. I was on the phone with them this week, and they're offering to make me custom stuff. Hey, Phil, anything you want, we can make you a custom hardware. So like maybe I design a clasp that's smaller that maybe has some sort of like set screw or something in there to tighten it down mechanically as opposed to using like an adhesive. So we've thought about it a bit. Right now we don't have anything, but the closest thing that we have that people use as a bracelet is the NATO watch bands, which we can make, but they're 20 millimeters wide for our NATO straps. Christy says, what's my favorite color for the reverse shell? Honestly, I really like reverse black, especially when it's got a lot of splatter and it's like a darker green. I like it when it's kind of gnarly. It kind of looks like a camo or something. The hidden branding is pretty cool, huh? Gold foil logos look sick. It's the same issue on the gold foil, actually, where there's adhesive on the foil that has to stick to the leather. And again, so much of our leathers are mostly oil and wax, or a significant portion of the material is wax. So that gold foil, it's pretty hard for us to fix on there, and I don't think it's permanent. What time do these launch tomorrow? It depends on how fast I can get this done, because I still haven't taken photos, and then I have to make product pages and a video. But I'm hoping for tomorrow afternoon, my time, maybe even noon, if I can do everything I need to do. Emerson Watson, being very considerate, and you're welcome for taking the time here. What's the patina potential for amaretto shell? I would say it's high. So amaretto is not too much darker than natural shell. It does have a little bit more orange and tan as it starts. But if you were to wear, let's say you wear your wallet in your back pocket, if you were to wear a natural shell on your right and then amaretto on your left, I think after like several years, they would look roughly the same. If you were to look down the spine of it and look at the pull-up, it might be slightly more orange and vibrant on the amaretto. But generally speaking, they both age pretty similarly. So if you take a look at any photo of a natural shell Herbie, maybe even on the homepage of our website, and look at the day 1000 photo, that's probably what your amaretto is going to look like. So there's a pretty dramatic potential for it to darken, as well as develop those layers of luster that I like. Cordovan and most veg tan leathers are a little bit more unique from what I have seen, where it's almost like a layer of patina develops on the surface, like way up top of the leather, and then there's almost something else, like a glow from inside of it. I don't know what's happening, but you see this sort of like layered effect of luster that will increase as well as you wear it. And as long as you don't cook it, like sometimes if people leave their wallet in a hot car, or I've had many customers that are like construction workers that are working out in the heat and they have their wallet in their pocket and then go sit in their car. If you're like really hot and sweaty, you can actually cook any veg tan leather, including shell cordovan, and it will create like a little bit of a dull spot. So I would just avoid like heat over like 120 degrees or so. But if you avoid that and just wear it and love it, it's going to get great. All right. Yeah, inverted pieces are looking great. Oh yeah, you like my band's album, Mr. Chop Top? Thanks, man. Yeah, this is our band merch. I just wore it because it was black. Actually, when I take photos, I try to wear black so I don't reflect myself in the cordovan. It's so shiny. I'm glad you took the time to check out the music. It's pretty heavy. All right. Got to run to the meeting, Isaiah. Good to see you. Thanks for being here. Tricky Farrell. Morning. I'm interested in asking Matt if I helped inspire the irregular sale collections after my sale suggestion. We have a calendar. You may have, but we have a calendar here. And every week we try to have like a different event. So those irregular events are usually planned out months ahead of time. So if you told him months ago that you wanted to do an event, you probably had it. But we've been better at trying to plan our stuff out. Although, like with the key fobs, we couldn't get those finished in time. So I had to do it over the weekend. So we try to do most events like one a week before Friday, if possible. But even today, like I should bail because it's almost halfway through Thursday. And we still need to finish the wallets that are going to be released tomorrow that I have to make a video for today. So that's like how tight we are on time. It's pretty wild. Anyways, thanks for being here, guys. A lot of great people chatting me up. I really appreciate people asking great questions, and everybody that's picked up something from the website. I really appreciate you guys supporting us and sharing this experience of leather together. You can't really experience it over the internet here. So when you buy it and you support us, it's really meaningful for me because we can share that together, but also you get to wear that thing forever. So I think it's a really, really special thing that we have going on here. And I'm just grateful every day that people even show up and support us. So thank you guys very much. Stay tuned. I'm hoping to put out a video later today with the inverted stuff and then hopefully launch it tomorrow. Let's see how much I can get done. All right, we'll see you guys later. Have a really great day.